Albert Harold Wheeler, Black bacteriologist and public health specialist. Albert Harold Wheeler is a successful bacteriologist and public health specialist who also pursued a career in politics. In the early 1950s, he became the first full-time African American faculty member at the University of Michigan, and during the 1970s, he was the first African American mayor of the city of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Wheeler was born on December 11, 1915, in St. Louis, Missouri, to Harold William and Elizabeth Theora Massey Wheeler. He received a bachelor's degree in 1936 from Lincoln University, an institution founded in 1854 to provide a higher education in the arts and sciences for youth of African descent. He earned a Master's of Science degree from Iowa State College in 1937 before entering the graduate program at the University of Michigan. There, he received a Master of Science in Public Health degree in 1938 and a doctorate in 1944. His dissertation was entitled A Study of Certain Factors in Attempts to Alter Resistance of Animals to Virus Infections of the Respiratory Tract. Wheeler began his scientific career in 1938 as a medical technologist at the Howard University College of Medicine. He was a research associate at the University of Michigan University Hospital Serology Laboratory from 1944 to 1952. In 1952, he was appointed assistant professor in the Department of Microbiology and Immunology, becoming the first full-time Black faculty member at the University of Michigan. Wheeler received a promotion to associate professor in 1959 and eventually became a full professor. Wheeler's research projects centered around serology, a science dealing with the reactions and properties of serums. From 1944 to 1946, he studied the serology of malaria, an infectious disease transmitted by the Anopheles mosquito. From 1944 to 1949, he studied syphilis, an infectious venereal disease. And from 1952 to 1970, he focused primarily on cancer. During the 1960s, Wheeler became increasingly involved in politics. He was a member of the Committee to Study Racial Imbalance in Ann Arbor Schools in 1965, and vice chair of that city's Planning Commission. From 1965 to 1969, he was president of the Michigan Conference of NAACP branches. And from 1967 to 1975, he was a member of the Michigan Advisory Committee to the U.S. Civil Rights Commission. During the 1968 National Democratic Convention in Chicago, Wheeler served as a delegate. From 1968 to 1969, Wheeler was a World Health Organization grantee. He was a member of the steering committee of the Michigan Democratic Black Caucus from 1968 to 1971 and director of the Department of Christian Service, Archdiocese of Detroit from 1970 to 1974. In 1970, Wheeler became the first president of the National Commission for Campaign for Human Development, a post he held for 4 years. He was also a member of the National League of Cities Human Resources Steering Committee and the Michigan Advisory Committee to study financing of public schools. In addition, he served on commissions to study the problems of the aging and the problems of youth. A Democrat, Wheeler became the first African American mayor of Ann Arbor, Michigan in 1975. Running for a second term, in 1976, Wheeler defeated opponent Louis Belcher by 1 vote, but his victory was marred by controversy. Election officials discovered that 20 non-residents had voted in the election. 2 of those voters faced a possibility of jail for refusing to reveal how they had cast their votes. The case eventually went before the Michigan Supreme Court. where the secrecy of a voter's ballot was upheld. During his second administration, Wheeler served on the Mayor's Advisory Council to the White House Office of Drug Abuse in 1977. In 1978, however, Belcher narrowly defeated Wheeler by 178 votes in a special election. Wheeler received the Community Service Award from the National Association of Black Social Workers in 1973, an Alumni Award from Lincoln University in 1961, the Martin Luther King Dreamkeepers Award from the University of Michigan in 1990, and the Development of People Award from the National Conference of Catholic Bishops in 1991. He is a member of the American Association of Immunologists, Sigma Xi, the International Honor Society for Scientists and Engineers, and Kappa Alpha Psi. Wheeler married Emma Watson Monteith on April 15, 1939. They have three children: Mary Evelyn Wheeler, Mary Evelyn Wheeler McDade, Alma Monteith Wheeler Smith, and Nancy Cornelia Wheeler Walker. Citations are in the description.